So what is that major problem with hypnosis? Let me give you an example to explain. Confabulation, yes. What happens here is that patients or people, they tend to confabulate, they tend to fabricate stories, but not with any intentions to lie or to hide any kind of truth, but it's just because there is a gap in their memory, and they tend to mix up the information which is present in their memory box. Let me just give you an example. Okay, let's say that you have witnessed an accident, and then you were asked to appear in the court in front of the judge, and there were many questions which were thrown to you to answer, and you are able to answer, but one of them is a question which says that what was the color of the car. And that's when your mind gets puzzled, because either, according to you, the color of the car was black or blue, but you're not sure. So you would be like, maybe black, or maybe it was blue, but I'm not sure about it. So here, what experts can decide is to take you for hypnosis. And once you go for hypnosis, what happens in that procedure, as I have already told you, that your mind goes into supreme relaxation state. And once you attain that state, your imagination becomes richer, and that improves your memory. So the hypnotist, he or she will ask you to relive that moment. And when you start reliving, when you start imagining, then there are chances that you tend to report more information which you were not able to do before when you were not hypnotized. And that can actually help the cops to crack the case and close the case. So that is the positive point. But the negative point is, you need to remember the color of the car. When you were imagining the entire incident in your mind, you imagine the color of the car as black color, and that's what you report to them. And you also become very confident because, as I told you, this experience actually makes you feel that you were physically present in that moment. And yes, whatever you've seen was real. So you become very confident, like, yeah, I did visit that place, but it was all in your imagination. So this is the kind of effect which I've already explained to you that you will have. But there are chances that car could be of blue color, not black. And that is mixing of the information which was present in your memory box. And that makes it, this whole thing, a little tricky. So let me just give you one more example. You must have heard of alien abduction. Now, what happens is, sometimes people come and tell you that, I was sailing in the boat, and then something really weird happened. And after some time, I woke up on the shore. I couldn't remember anything until I went to a hypnotist who hypnotized me. And then I found out that I was actually abducted by aliens, and they took me to a place. They did some kind of experiment on me, and then they had thrown me back onto the earth. So here, what happened is confabulation. So I do not mean that, every time whatever you report under hypnosis is wrong, or it's not true. Sometimes it is, but many times when you have gap in your memory, and in that state you become very suggestible. So there are high chances that you confabulate, that you fabricate stories. So let me just explain you what could have happened. He was sailing in a boat, and there was this lightning which happened in front of him, and after that he became completely unconscious. Now, in such incidents, you tend to suffer from amnesia, that is loss of memory, immediate memory before that incident. And when you attain that relaxation state, there is a possibility that you start remembering things into bits and pieces. Now, what he would have remembered is he remembered pressure around his wrist. He remembered that his body experienced a weird kind of pain. He remembered a strong pull. Okay. And yeah, there was a lightning, in front of him. So how he's going to fabricate, all of this is he's going to put all the pieces together in a way that there was a spaceship in front of me, which was that lightning. And when he remembered the tension around his wrist, that was an alien who held him by his wrist. And then he pulled, because he'll say that, I was pulled inside the spaceship. So he pulled me inside, and then he took me to a different place and did experiment on my body, because he remembered that he experienced pain on his body. And then he was thrown back onto the earth. So this is what is confabulation, and that is the major risk which hypnosis carries along with itself. So this is something which you really need to keep in your mind.